event, but you could speak about it and
put into words.
communicate it to the students in your second language.
I think some people, they can pick up that information from seeing Frankie or Dawn or someone like that, because you feel it, you can say there is something, what is it, and you can experience it maybe from
they're
that.
so strong.
But our culture, the Swedish culture, maybe here also, many people are more used to, should we say, verbal or written information. They cannot pick up the impression of something they see really. So maybe that makes sense. You have to be able to express it sometimes with words, because some people need the words, it seems, even though the information is more with the old-timers. But then you have to look, and they might not explain it in words. They say, oh, you have to feel it. And what is that?
Do you consider yourself an artist?
Oh, some kind of artist, I think, but I can't really. I don't know exactly what kind. A kind of dancer, of course, but I try a lot of other things too. Some of them are more new to me now. Maybe one good thing is that I'm not so. How should I put this? I'm thinking about this with talent again. One thing, it's not a talent, but something that is good is that I'm not so. If I get an idea, I normally try to make the idea happen. And sometimes maybe it doesn't work, but sometimes it works. And I think that's a good thing to do that, because without that little thing, maybe Herring would never have happened, because it came out of an idea of some kind. It was not my idea, but when Frankie came, I was very involved, and it was a lot of things around that, and we were willing to say, okay, maybe something can be done. When we see a book, most people would say, oh, that's interesting. They would close the book and say, yeah, I could do that for fun maybe. But the thing is to take it and say, hey, I want to do something with this. Right. And then just go into it and leave the rest behind. Right. So if that is a talent, I think I have that kind of talent, because I don't care so much about the consequences of things. And I'm naive also, which means I don't see what the risks or the costs are for something. Instead I say, I would like to do this, I think this is good. Now we go for it, I go for it now. So it's a kind of passion, I think. And when that happens, I know I'm not going to turn around and go in the other direction. But it needs to happen. But some people maybe would hesitate, no, I have my ordinary job, and no, I can't do that, that's not politically correct. And those things then I can't stop myself. Then I have to do it. So something like that.
You sound like an artist.
So that has something to do with artistry also, of course. But I'm not an artist. I've been on stage a lot, but to be honest, I'm not sure if I really like it or not. I'm really cut into two pieces about that. Because one side of me is a very discreet kind of nature that doesn't talk much to people, and I stay on my own a lot. I don't want to be with other people. And then you have this, the Lindy context. I came into it from, I wanted to learn it. And suddenly I was in a social environment. It was, where do all these people come from? And that was never my ambition. Many people today, they come in because they want to socialize. Right. They want to meet a nice girl or a nice man, whatever. And I was never thinking about that. That was never, it was the art of it. It was, wow, Elsa Poppin, ooh, an aerial, I have to learn that aerial. It was about that. So it's a very different thing, I think.
I think you are an artist in the sense that, not that you are a performer or whatever, but it's artist in the sense that you want to craft the art. You're interested to find out more, to do it right, to develop it, and how is it like this, and why is it like that, and artistic,
It's not really about me on stage. I've never had that strong desire, but I like the idea of creating things for stage, and sometimes that includes myself. But that's not the key thing, because I don't want the limelight of that. If I want any kind of limelight, it is when I can see a little production of some kind and I say, hey, that's my idea, and I put it together. That is a nice feeling, and people maybe applaud, and then I like to discreetly sit in the background and say, yeah, that came out quite well. But I don't need to be there. Herring, I know when the best moments in Herring are. It's not when you're on stage or when you have a class. For me it is if I go out and sit maybe 50 meters away in the forest and I look at it. And then you start to think, wow, it's a lot of people, and it seems like they like it. And then you know you've been a part of that process to create that. And that is the feeling of it. That's the strongest feeling I can get from it. Then you can get a little bit touched by the whole thing. And it's not because of me, it's because I have been able to be a part of this. I've been lucky enough to be a part of this. That's the thing with it. Or when you have a student and you see someone makes progress, someone is passionate about something, someone gets a new idea, those things are very strong. It's not about the money or anything for me. I've never been interested in money really. Even if I work at the bank, it sounds kind of strange, but when it comes to my dancing, I've never been thinking if it pays or if it doesn't pay. I'm not interested in that. I don't even have a price when I teach. If they don't have any money, I'll do it anyway if I have the time. So it's never about money. Some other people, they might be forced to ask for the money because of their living circumstances. But luckily I live very cheaply in Stockholm, I don't have a lot of expenses, so then you can be a little bit like that. And I like that idea. I like that idea. That was how many of the old-timers were when I met them in New York also. I remember very well when I took some privates for Buster Brown, a well-known tap dancer. We were in his home, and we stood there, me and Catherine. And after the 2 hours, 3 hours something, we had filmed him and he has been showing Catherine a lot. I couldn't follow, I wasn't experienced enough, so I used the camera. But then after 2-3 hours, we asked, how much do we owe you now? And he said, no, you don't owe me anything. But come with me, we go and have dinner. Then he paid the dinner on top of it. And we couldn't understand, he doesn't want any money. And he said, no, it's so nice you came and you're interested in what I'm doing. And that left an imprint on me, what he did at that time. And Al was the same. I mean, Frankie also in the beginning, there was never a discussion about big money or something. And Al, when he came, I don't think he made a lot of money in Sweden, if any money. He was also like, and he didn't have any money. He was quite poor. He didn't have money. And we maybe didn't offer him a lot of money, but he was never interested in it. He was, oh, you're interested, fantastic. TV is coming, making a program about what I did when I was 20 years old. It's fantastic. So I like that approach very much too. So I try to stay with that as much as I can.
So maybe you want to wrap up the interview?
Okay.
Okay, so one last question. What's the one thing that we dancers have to keep in mind?
Ooh, it's not only one thing. It's a lot of things.
That's the one many things.
I mean, are you talking about dance-wise, or are you talking about how to keep the scene alive, or how to keep the dance itself alive?
The growth or the dances, the new dances.
Like, yeah, how, what's the one thing I have to keep in mind for me to become a better dancer?
Oh, but you're talking about dancers in general terms now in a way, because I can't say really about you because I don't know you.
Yeah, I guess for Olympic
no, I think the biggest problem is that we learn the dance grammatically. I think that is the main problem. Most of us teachers, we are standing there 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. I don't know, I'm not sure. I do it myself from time to time, but I'm not sure that it is so good. The old-timers, it was their culture, and of course they grew up with it. They felt it naturally, so we can't compare. But we have to remember the way they learned the dance was without grammar. They felt something and they reacted to that feeling. We kind of do the opposite. And I think when I see many dancers, at least from my point of view, many people, they count and they do steps and they do patterns, but it doesn't swing. It just doesn't swing to me. And then some dancers, yeah, they swing a lot. But a strong majority, to me, it doesn't really swing. And the question as a teacher you ask yourself then is, why don't these people swing? Because it's my students. Why can I not pass on this thing to them? Okay. And I can't even say that I can swing. Sometimes maybe, sometimes probably not at all. But it's still a question, why is it so? And then you question yourself as a teacher. But it's also an interesting observation, I think. But if people could spend more time with the music and try to think of the dance from that perspective, I think that would help. Okay. Not the grammatical perspective. The spiritual kind of perspective is the feeling of it.
So that concludes our interview with Lennart Westerlund. Thank you for answering our questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wrap this up. It's very inspiring listening to you from the beginning of the day when I took the classes and lessons with you. It's very inspiring. Without you knowing, there are things that you speak, you know, I kind of catch it. It's very rare to have such a teacher to be around to impart that skills, that what do you call it?
I guess a different perspective.
So really very inspiring. Really great to hear more of your stories. We have not much time, but really, if we have time, we would have run 3 hours. I would really. But yes, very happy. Very happy to have meet you here, and hope to see you more often, and come back to Singapore more often. And probably we'll see you in Iran next year.
It's your decision, not mine.
We'll see you in Iran next year then.
So, welcome to Iran.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.